Welcome back everyone to Data Science for Everyone. Today we're going to be looking at stock prices with PySpark. Let's get started. So first off, if you haven't installed PySpark and Py4j, make sure and do that. Otherwise this stuff's not going to work. Next up, let's go on and get everything working here. So from PySpark .sql import Spark session, and we're also going to import functions. Just going to run that, and then Spark is equal to our Spark session dot builder dot app name. Here we'll call this stock price analysis. Get or create, and then let's go on and get our data in. So df is equal to spark.read.csv, and we want data stock prices.csv. Header is true. Infer schema is also true. Let's run this. Whoops. Is it stock price maybe? Let's see, stock price. Whoops, what did I call it? Let's take a look. Whoops, it's because this folder is not named properly. Then what are you? Stock prices, okay. So let's go on back over to stock prices, run this. And so next thing we'll also go on, and while this is importing the data, we want to also import in some of our other basics. So let's import pandas as PD, import numpy as NP, import seaborn as SNS, import matplotlib, pyplot as PLT, import seaborn as SNS, and then let's do matplotlib in line as well. And so while we're at it, let's go on. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more for you guys. And let's take a look at the data frame, and let's print our schema. Now we told it to infer our schema, so hopefully it did that, but here's the deal. I actually know for a fact that it didn't, okay, because I have specifically messed with the data a little bit here so that everything's going to be coming up as strings. Okay, now reason for this is if we, let me go up here real quick and let's take a look at the head of our data stock prices. And notice here, all right, so this is our data, but look here what's happening here. Some of these have dollar signs, okay, kind of fed into them somewhere. So then a lot of these, and all of these actually, once we look at them, wind up being strings. Okay, so we have to go through and actually deal with making these strings. So then let's go on and say from PySpark.sql.types, we want to import everything for now. And let's do data schema, and this is going to be a list. Oops. A list, and we're going to have to do something, and I'm going to do the first couple so that we can kind of get a taste for what we're going to be doing, and then I'll kind of speed things up a little bit. So first we do structure. Whoops, and you know what? Just so that we have some auto stuff for us, so you guys can kind of make that work better. We want structure field. We want symbol, string type in here, true. Okay, and so maybe another thing that's helpful for us is a df.columns, so then we can actually see each of these, and so we got to go through and do all of these. All right, so then the next one that we're going to do here, it's actually a comma, structure field date is going to be a date type, true. And I'll do one more here, and then the rest you guys can kind of see once I've gone through them. So structure field here, open, double type, true. Okay, welcome back. So this was a quick little hop in time for you guys, but you can see here that I have done each of these in turn. So any of the numeric fields, I kept them as double type, unless, for example, this volume is an integer type, and then the market cap is a string, the sector type is going to be a string, industry is a string, exchange is string. Okay, so we're going to be able to do this. And again, I know I don't like this market cap, and so we'll also go about changing that structure as well. Now, what we're going to actually do is we're going to reread this in, okay, using the structure method. I haven't even ran this yet, so let me go on and run it. And we want to call this struct, so for our structure. So this is a structure field. No, we want structure type here. Sorry. Structure type fields is going to be our data schema. Okay, and so then let's go on and re-import this. So spark.read.csv, data by stock prices.csv, header is true, and our schema is going to be our struct. Struct. Okay, let me clean that up just a little bit. Okay, so now if we go and we do df.print schema, let's take a look. All right, and so now everything is most certainly in the format that we want. So now we can actually start to play with it. Now, the first thing that let's really want to do is I really want to change that name. I very much dislike having icky names and column headers like that. So let's do df is equal to df dot with column renamed here, and we'll do market dot cap and change this to market underscore cap. So then let's do something like df dot columns just to make sure. And again, we have our market underscore cap. And let's go on and do maybe some descriptive statistics. So a couple different ways that we can do this. We can do describe.show and run this, and we'll see the data here pop out in just a second. But another way that we can do this is using the two pandas method as well on it, and I actually prefer that method. So let's wait around for a second and let this run. So as we can see here, this is definitely done in more of a text type setting. Okay, I much prefer to have this in more of a data frame look to it. So we can actually change this to .2pandas to run this, so that we actually have a very nice looking output. Okay, and again, this is something that maybe you could want to feed into another document or something else as well. So as we can see here, now this is definitely in more of a comfortable setting than what we had before. So this is, again, it's in the pandas data frame type. Now again, we can see here that we definitely have a very large data set. There's about 100,000 observations here, or sorry, 1 million observations, sorry. So this is definitely a nice big data set with a bunch of observations. So let's go on and actually see what else we can get here. So there are a couple ways to get this count number here, okay? And again, you can see that we're definitely missing some data here as well for some of them. But let's go on and check here. So let's do something like df.count, can run this, and this will get us that same 100,999. We can also do something like df.distinct.count, and run this as well. Whoops. That is this. There we go. And again, this will show us the exact same number. Let's go on and take a look at just the numerical output here. Okay, so let's do something like df dot select open high, low, close, volume, and adjusted. And let's also do dot describe dot show. And again, this, whoops, what didn't it like here? And it's supposed to be adjusted. Not adjusted. And that's not going to work either because it, put that in. There we go. So again, we can see here, this looks a little bit cleaner. We have all of our numerical data. We can definitely see that we're missing some values. We also see our nice highs and lows. Now, another thing that's very important to us is we're interested in looking at the sector. Okay, so let's do df dot group by, and here we're going to group by sector dot count and show. So let's see who we have in here. So we definitely have quite a bit of people in all different types of sectors. So we have miscellaneous, healthcare, utilities, energy, consumer non-durables, finance, basic industries, technology, customer services, consumer durables, transportation. Let's go on and take a look at this data by sector. So if we do something like, let's say by sector is going to be df.select here, and we want sector open, let's do close, and adjusted dot group by sector. And what do we want to do here? We always have to have some sort of aggregation function onto this. So let's do dot mean dot collect. Okay, and this collect function, again, we have to actually grab this data if we want to save it into a separate data frame. Okay, so show will just show it to us, but if we want to collect it and do something with that saved data, that's what we will have to do here. So now let's actually look at that data by, let's do by sector.show here. And notice here that this is a list object now, okay? It has actually changed what it looks like. So if I go through and I do something like just run this by itself, notice this does not look very clean, okay? So notice here it's something like average, Well, let's go on and actually see a nice way that we could potentially clean this up, okay? So let's go on and do something like for row in by sector, we want to print out a list of the row with an end that is a new line. And so there we actually have all of our nice data here. Now again, it doesn't have our row, column, anything like that, but we can go on and also take care of that if we want to by grabbing this. And let's just put this up here for now and do print. So again, it doesn't look very clean, but we can also go through later on and actually turn this into a nice data set of some sort if we want to. But let's move on and actually convert this up to a proper data set. Okay, so we go from this, okay, all the way to an actual data frame. Okay, so I'm going to actually go on and just copy this. We'll go down here. And so instead of this, so we'll call this sector data frame. And we're going to, instead of collect, we'll say to pandas. Okay, and this is a much easier way than trying to print it out in this, again, as you can see, in this list type format. I find it very icky, and you'll see a lot of people turn this nonsense into a data frame later on. And again, we could do that, but this is definitely easier. So again, here we can just do, we can actually take a look at the data and notice now it's nice and clean. And again, we don't even have to do the head because it is a small data set. And we can have all of our nice average close. We can look at our nice descriptive statistics there. And you could even go on and do this for all the other sectors as well. Heck, we could even do the descriptive statistics. So let's go on and do a little bit of plotting with this, because again, maybe we want to see how each of the sectors compare with one another. Again, looking at the data is nice, but actually being able to visualize it is even better. So let's do our sector.dataframe.plot. Kind here, let's do a bar plot. We want sector on the x-axis. Y here is going to be our sector data frame dot columns dot to list, and we only want we want to start at the first and go all the way up to the end. And let's do big size here of, let's say, a 12 by 12. Let's go and run that and see what we got here. So we have this nice figure here. We can definitely see that consumer durables are significantly larger. Maybe that was a little big. Let's do 8 by 8 so we can see everything at once. And still can't really see it, but that's fine. So again, we can see here that definitely consumer durables are the highest, then basic industries, then healthcare. And again, you can kind of do this. We could even rank these later on. But let's maybe look at maybe one or two more things, okay? So let's maybe do let's do one more for today, okay? And so let's turn this into maybe an industry plot, okay? So we've done it by sectors. So let's go on and do it by industry as well, and then we'll end here for today. So let's group by industry. And you know what? I'm just going to turn this into, let's say, industry data frame, df.select here. And we want industry. We want open. We want close. Whoops. Close, and we want adjusted, and then we want to do two pandas here, and then we can do something very, very similar to what we had done previously, and that would be to have a nice oh, you know what, and we actually need to, we don't want just all of that. Let's actually do a group by the industry. Group by industry. And you know what? This is getting a little ugly. So let me do this. Industry dot mean. Whoops. Change the syntax here. So if we change the syntax, sorry, let me just go put that there. All right, so now we have our nice industry data frame. Let's go on and give it a nice bar plot as well. So let's do something like industry data frame dot plot. Kind here will be bar H for a nice horizontal bar. X is going to be our industry. Y is going to be our industry data frame dot columns dot to list, and we want everything from 1 on to the end. And let's do figure. What is going on here? There we go. The fig size is going to be 10 by 10. Let that run. And oh, there is a lot there. So maybe we want to do something bigger. So let's do a 10 by 50. And let's see here, because again, a lot of these are going to be nice and small at 0, but again, here we have, for example, major chemicals work, and let's see who the big one is. Building products is going to be nice and large. So again, from our data set at least, we see that the biggest has a tendency to be here for mean-wise is our building products and then major chemicals, okay? And we're gonna end this here for today so that this doesn't get too long, and then we'll go on and get a little bit more in depth in the next one. So maybe we'll drop out maybe our major chemicals or something like that. If you guys like this, please comment, subscribe, and hit that like button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.